So joining us now to discuss more about this is Sam Vadas, contributor here for the Schwab Network. So Sam, I have fatigue for like all of these price increases. Apple TV is going up. Just something else just went up in my horizon that I was like, again, but you just sort of have to get used to it. You just pay it, and we all have. Unfortunately, they were all at somewhat of the really disposal of these companies because they can raise prices. Pricing power seems to be king right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could say by the reaction in the markets today, this is music to investors' ears, pardon the pun. But that is because obviously they've been looking at these price increases and the cost-cutting measures over at Spotify, as well as the company really focuses on profitability. And that really is at the essence of what this FT article and report is all about, that the company, the executive that they've been speaking to has certainly been suggesting that these price increases could be coming for these consumers. So this is the senior executive, Alex Nordstrom, that they've been talking to. And I'll just pluck out a couple of lines from that report just to highlight what he's been telling the folks over at the FT, that this is part of our toolbox now, he says, after many years of keeping those prices flat. So in return, what are you going to give me? That's the big question. Well, he also goes on to say that this would be accompanied by new services and features. So that's what's really going to make up for the increase in prices here. And also predicted that the streamer could eventually have more than 1 billion users. So he's been talking about how this is all about value add right now for customers in tandem with the price increases. We essentially want the customer to win here. They're looking to add more value and more stickiness, they call it. So price hikes we've seen, and to your point, Jenny, about some of these price hike fatigue type feelings setting into the market. I mean, they're talking about how they are seeing people converting to the service despite the fact that they're seeing these increased prices, grabbing more market share. Just over 3% of the world's population, they say, are paying us on a recurring basis, and they say that they have more runway to expand subscriber numbers as well. So it very much looks like that this has been a very big focus for the market as well. Previously, remembering back to that earnings report that we got just recently, they had certainly signaled that they would be looking at price increases in international markets, multiple markets, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Africa, Europe, Latin America, and APAC from September. So it does very much look, if you take note of the price action we've seen today, up 1%, that investors have been encouraged by what we're hearing from this company, but also the fact that this has been priced in for some time. I mean, you can see that reflected in the stock, up over 100% over the last 12 months. It did take a hit after those earnings, but it has been recovering. So let's see if this takes it the next leg higher.
Sam, anything else on your radar with this one? You mentioned sort of the repricing post-earnings, but that's sort of been the season. It wasn't necessarily that things were overly bad. It's just, if it's not perfect, it's been punished.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look, disappointing quarter. It was a surprise quarterly loss, a revenue miss. I don't need to recap what we got from that, but, we did see that we got a bit of evidence of the struggling ads business, but the good news is that the subs, I mean, that certainly was the highlight and the bright spot in all of that, and they do continue to look to build on that. But I mean, I've just been looking across a few analyst reports in response to this. I mean, you had Guggenheim off the back of the report card raising the firm's price target, but they had been very much focusing on the fact that they expect another round of price increases to be announced by Spotify in the largest markets, including the US. So they felt like this was in the pike, very much coming their way. And the analysts over at Wells Fargo look very bullish as well. I mean, they've been talking about how, the results weren't overly exciting, but this remains still very much a top pick as far as they're expecting, and very attractive catalysts that it's hard to ignore. That's certainly what they've been talking about. They said that investors should remain calm, but they are very bullish on the latest subscription tier, Superfan, and that they will see product and very much feature innovations to come with regards to videos and also education, because also we know that Spotify has been talking about making a foray into videos to take on the likes of YouTube as well.
Yeah, and I will say that their product is impressive. I like the one-stop shop for all things like audio, now perhaps visual. So I've been getting into some of their audiobooks because it's cheaper than what I was doing before. So I guess I am a victim of a part of their success because it's really like, they can raise prices. They have that flexibility. And for me, I will pay probably any dollar amount. It's much cheaper than the days of paying per song, which was just ridiculous. So appreciate that, Sam. Of course, all that insight on Spotify today.